Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we are back to a place where we can feel together, reveal together, so we can all heal together. It's not about canceling, it's about counseling. This is Counsel Culture, and I am joined once again. This is our third session. It's been heating up. It's getting more and more deep, more and more intense, more and more powerful every session. And I'm truly blessed to be in his presence. I know we're going to break it down even deeper in this one because he is the author of the mathematics of the mind. If you don't have it, get it right now. Brother Nuri Muhammad.
Thank you, sir.
Man,
Thank you, brother Nick.
you in here teaching. Nah, it's an honor and privilege. We had the opportunity first where we kind of laid the groundwork really about just rescuing our men.
Yes, sir.
And hearing a little bit about your background. Second session, we got to dive in relationships, and you schooled us. You took us there. You showed us the power of two equally yoked individuals and what they can do. But I think another space that needs to be discussed and where we're often suffering is our health and wellness.
Yes, sir.
I've been on this journey for quite some time. Myself being diagnosed with different things from a young man, from everything from ADHD to in my adult age to things like lupus and many different things that I've struggled with. But what I found is that, health is the true wealth.
That's right.
And as we know from powerful books like Eat to Live.
Yes, sir.
That I live by,
Wow.
I mean, that from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that food is our energy, food is our medicine. So your medicine doesn't have to become your food.
Right.
And you've taught on this so much. I mean, and even, we're still creating for all those out there. It's coming, the Dr. Savy documentary where we talk about the African biomineral process, where we learn about who we are as a people and what we're supposed to put into our bodies.
Yeah.
Because there's certain things that to be honest, you know that we're not supposed to ingest. And
that's right.
That, currently 90% of the things that are in the grocery stores weren't there 100 years ago. And most of them are plastic.
Yeah.
And we're ingesting all of these things. But I've heard you teach on this so much. But one thing I found that is really profound that I would love for you to share with our audience is the color code of food.
Wow, yeah. Well, it allows you, it's God's original barcode that allows you to become your own nutritionist when it comes to figuring out what you need at that time. So the basic breakdown is the food that is red, that's for your vitality and your energy. The orange food, whether it's oranges, squash, this is for the boosting of your immunity. Green is for your digestive system and detoxing you. The purple, the blue, all of the eggplant, the blueberry, this is relaxation. This is what antioxidant, it kills the free radicals. Then you have the yellow.
Yeah.
That's the banana. Potassium is good for your brain.
Yeah.
So whatever feeling you have,
Right.
that's what your feelings are.
Yeah.
They are your internal guidance system to let you know something is off balance in you. So if you know the color coding of food, you don't have to know how to read all through the paragraphs of stuff that's on the back. Matter of fact, if it got a paragraph, it's not food.
Wow.
Matter of fact, if it got a barcode, it's not food.
Wow.
It's really an industrialized commodity posing as food. It's good tasting plastic, but it's not real food.
Right.
So that mathematics is something simple that you can employ to help you to pick what you need to pick to help get yourself back into balance and restore yourself.
And as I heard you put it before, that just shows you how amazing God is, that he just laid it out there for you.
He's the best knower. So there was never barcodes and packages. And as you said 100 years ago, what you see, this processed food, all of this stuff is carcinogens.
Right.
Has carcinogen, it causes cancer. So you have to stay away from non-God made food. And whenever you unpack the scriptures, you go from Adam to Noah. The life expectancy was an average of 912 years. Adam and Eve were making babies at 600 and some years old.
Wow.
Don't you try that,
I was
bro,
about
Nick.
to say,
Don't you try that at home. Don't try it at home. But then after Noah in the scripture, originally they were told every herb-bearing seed should be to you as meat. And they were eating, some of them were eating 2 meals a week.
Wow.
Living to 1,000 years. Eat one day, fast 3, eat one day. So eating 2 meals every week was about the most that they ate. And they were living up to 1,000 years of age. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said this. He said, if you ate 1 meal every other day, you would only get sick 1 day every 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
And he said, I then asked Master Father Muhammad, what can I do to get rid of that 1 day of sickness every 4 or 5 years? He said, if you eat 1 meal and fast for 72 hours, there will not be enough poison in your body from the previous meal to even get you sick 1 day in your life. So that tells us that sicknesses, all the illnesses are food related. If we would not eat as much as we do and fast more, then we will find ourselves being able to cure. The body, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, your body is its own hospital. But to get it open for business, you got to fast. And when you fast, you open the doors of your hospital to heal you. That's what doctors are really supposed to do. Doctors are supposed to be able to analyze, like a diagnostic machine for a car, and be able to give you some prescription or regimen that allows your body to activate its own healing system to solve your problem. But doctors today, they're not real doctors. They're really pharmacologists. That's a legal drug dealer.
Pharmacologist.
That's what they are. So they come in there and they don't keep no dope on them.
Yeah.
They kingpin. Just write a little script.
Girl,
Send
you gotta
go
go
see
get
my
it
guy at the trap house.
At the trap house.
CVS, Walgreens. Go to my trap and go get my guy in the back. Just go to the window. He'll hook you up. Wow. And then you walk out of there with that little plastic bag all stapled up, a little brown paper bag stapled up. But it's dope. Man. So we live in a culture. What the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was teaching in How to Eat to Live was not symptom suppression. He was teaching you how to cure problems you had and be immune to problems that were coming. He wasn't teaching you how to operate and be a victim. He was teaching you how you could eat to be a victor. He didn't want you to have a pill as a coping mechanism. He wanted you to have a diet as a conquering mechanism for life. So How to Eat to Live, it is the age reversing, disease destroying, life and life more abundantly system God gave to him for us. And Dr. Sebi salutes the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as the one that activated him to even begin his study and his practice to figure out, what was best for us. And he followed it to a great deal. How to Eat to Live.
So true. I mean, now you said we got to make sure you in the documentary, man. Everything, even maybe I might just take that clip right there and put it in the documentary. But I mean, I've learned so much about that journey, and even like as a student of How to Eat to Live, it's definitely changed my life from even hearing, Malcolm X only ate once a day and just different disciplines of fasting that I practice often. And as you said, we're currently in the middle of Ramadan.
Yes,
for someone who doesn't understand that, can you speak on the spiritual practices of that and the benefits that come with it?
Well, Ramadan is the 9th month in the lunar calendar. We follow the Gregorian calendar, which is all messed up.
It's all messed up.
That's why every year, all the stuff is all on different dates. But in the lunar calendar, it stays consistent.
Right. April was the first month, right? Or
well, they call it, I don't know what exactly, it's not even, it doesn't have any of the month names that America in the West has.
Right.
But so Ramadan would be like September.
Right.
Their September.
Right.
But it's the month that the Quran was revealed in. It's first started getting revelation. Muhammad first started getting revelation in Ramadan. So they made the month of the Quran. And to show a salute to the scripture, you fast. And it's a month of spiritual purification. There's no food or drinking or sexual intercourse with your wife or husband during the daylight hours.
Right.
And the lesson that comes from it, you do it for 30 days. Think about this. Food, water, and sex. These are 3 things that either brought us here or keep us here. So if you can conquer and master for 12 to 15 hours a day what brought you here and what keeps you here, how easy is it for you to stop smoking a cigarette or to stop drinking or any other bad habit you want to break? So it becomes a month of spiritual purification, recommitting yourself, and we don't argue. We try not to watch anything foul, and that's something to think about too, because
You can fast for multiple things.
It's physical, mental, and spiritual. Fasting is the only thing that I know that touches all of those with no side effects. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said like this. He said, fasting is a greater cure than all of the pills of this world put into one bottle or a billion bottles.
Wow.
And it's a better cure for both mental and physical disease.
Right.
So once we know, and we learning it about diet, and that they call, they talk about electric food, but reality is this. Everything in the food world or the thought world is either one or two things. It's either tonic or toxic. Tonic means that it's positive, promotes healing. Toxic means it's negative and promotes disease and sickness. So the food that we eat, even the healthiest food, produce waste, or we wouldn't go to the restaurant.
Right.
So once you try to live a life where you are governing the three gates of the mind. The scientists of this world say it's only two gates. They say the eyes and the ears.
Right.
But it's the mouth too. So your mind, our mind, the raw material that our mind is made out of is not based off of just what we see and observe and what we listen to. It's also based on the food we eat. Because at the end of the day, when you digest food, you're turning solid into liquid or physical into chemical. And the chemicals of the food that's broken down become ingredients that mix to the bloodstream. 60,000 miles of arteries go all through your body. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said in 8 minutes and 20 seconds, 1 drop of blood can make it from the crown of your head all the way through your body to the sole of your feet and back to the crown. So when you eat food, that the chemicals in the food are going in your blood. The blood goes to your brain. Guess what thoughts are? Thoughts are unseen, but they're not unreal. They're electrochemical energy, fast-moving fluid.
Right.
So when you got chemicals of thoughts mixed with the chemicals of food, you can be thinking good thoughts, but if you're eating bad food, your bad food will corrupt your good thoughts.
Wow.
So the three gates, if we really want to be solid, holy, wholesome, holistic, we got to guard what we put in our eye, what we look at, what we listen to, and what we eat. And if we can make the three gates only open for that which is tonic, not toxic, we'll be a healthy individual, mind, body, and soul.
Man, you teaching right now, and you simplify it. But how? I mean, I feel like all of us struggle at some point with our eyes, our ears, and especially our mouth about what we ingest. Is it truly spiritual warfare? Because we hear about all of these things from the secret societies, the Illuminati, we all know that the devil has dominion over the earth, and he's the author of confusion. So knowing what we're up against as a people and in our spirits, why is the battle so difficult?
Well, it is that. What you said is spiritual warfare. But it is there's a verse in the Quran where it talks about Satan or the devil making mischief with created things. He takes everything that is natural that you and I are inclined toward, and he amplifies it and gives a artificial version of it to hijack your taste buds or hijack your urges so that he can pull you into something other than what's good and right for the sake of taste or pleasure.
Okay.
So that's a pleasure trap.
Right.
So the spiritual warfare that has to take place is on the inside. It's really inside. The battle is in the mind.
Right.
So that's why when you look at what we talked about earlier about bringing every thought captive unto Christ, of course, you can't take your thought and say, here, Jesus, look at this.
Right.
But it's talking about comparing what you're thinking to what God said on the subject. And when you do so, if it matches, keep it. If it doesn't, kill it. That's spiritual warfare.
Right.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said this. He said that in the nature of the original man, there's a black and a brown germ. And the Yaqub was able to take the brown germ, break it down to its weakest form to produce a whole new race of people,
Right.
called Caucasian. But the black is the positive, brown houses the potential for the negative. Among the Navajos, that all the children are told when they're growing up that inside of you there are two wolves. There's a good wolf and there's a bad wolf. And of course, the young soldiers, they always ask, well, you know, grandfather, which one wins? They said, easy, whichever one you feed the most. Look at that. In Asia, in the Far East, they talk about the yin and the yang.
Right.
In the Holy Quran, there's a verse that says every soul comes with it, a driver and a witness. The witness is the invisible force in man that inclines you to good. The driver is the unseen force that inclines us to evil. So it's in our nature.
Right.
We wrestling with the good wolf, the bad wolf, the yin, the yang, the black germ, the brown germ. We're wrestling with the driver and the witness. Even when we was growing up on cartoons.
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny or Daffy Duck, whenever they was getting tempted to do something wrong, it wasn't normally somebody talking to them.
Yeah.
It was Daffy Duck with a devil costume on one shoulder, Daffy Duck with an angel costume on the other shoulder. One saying, do this, this is right, you know what's right, you know what you're supposed to be doing. The other one saying, no, go ahead and do it, it's gonna be good, it's gonna be... So that's the struggle with inside of self. And if we can listen more to the God than the devil, more to the black germ than the brown germ, more to the good wolf than the bad wolf, more to the witness than the driver, the yin than the yang, then the more we feed it, as the Navajo elder told him, whichever one's gonna win is the one you feed the most. So the more we feed the true, the good, the positive. There's a verse, Brother Nick, that in Philippians 4:8, it says, think on these things, whatever is good, whatever is pure, whatever is honorable, whatever is of good favor, think on these things. See, our problem is we think too many weak thoughts, sinful thoughts, and too many sickly thoughts. And whatever you think about the most is what's gonna win.
Wow.
So that's the math, you know. Whatever you're struggling with, you gotta feed yourself the opposite of it and starve what you're struggling with, and it'll die.
So, in that, because going back to, I mean, there's so much wisdom that you're putting forth, and going back to what we even spoke about in the first session, the truth.
Yes, sir.
Like, how does one know what is food, or how does one know what is feeding my soul? How do I know the difference between, you know, the good wolf and the bad wolf in that sense? Because especially now today in the spiritual warfare, like, we don't know what to believe. We don't know. Like even as I was, you know, jokingly saying things like, you know, the Illuminati or all that, but in this pseudo intellectual world that we live in, where brothers like yourself who have so much wisdom and write books and have lectures and speak to me, there's people also, you know, as maybe we call them false prophets or different teachings out there that, you know, the devil, the enemy, the low frequency, the bad wolf can use to you know, mask themselves as this is the truth or this is the way. And as individuals who are seeking truth, seeking the right ways to go about it, we get confused and we go down a wrong path. And that's everything from diets, different practices, ways of like, I heard if I do this, then I'll be healthier. I heard if I apply these principles to my life, I'll find success. And it feels like, because so many of us out here are seeking that growth, seeking counsel, but they're, you know, we're being led astray.
Well, is there a truth to the fact that there are social engineers that are architects of confusion that do manipulate media, food, etc., air, water, They found a way to corrupt everything, to mess you up. The reason that I don't talk about them, there was a brother once. He said this to me after a question and answer session. I finished speaking. He said, "Well, I'm gonna tell you this, man. I agree with everything you say, man, but I have one question. Ain't you scared?" I said, well, "Scared of what? What do you mean, scared?" He said, "Man, you know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about like the FBI, the CIA, man, Homeland Security. You know what I'm trying to say, right?" I said, "I think so, brother." I said, "But, you know, anytime you set out to do anything, there's only really 4 things present. You, the goal, what's backing you to achieve the goal, and what's your opposition to keep you from achieving it." I said, to me, the God that I believe in and his Christ and his teaching is more powerful than the FBI, the CIA, the Illuminati, the Trilateral Commission, the Bilderbergers, the A Royal family, hell, the synagogue. I don't care who they are.
Right.
They're more powerful than them. So my God can eliminate all opposition. So technically, there's nothing between me achieving something but me and my goal. So Scripture says like this: no weapon
formed against me shall
Come on now,
prosper.
formed against the righteous, it's going to prosper. So it didn't say they wouldn't be formed.
Yeah.
It just said they wouldn't prosper.
Right.
So I say, well, okay, no weapon formed against the righteous will prosper. Question, are you righteous? Let me see. I'm trying. Okay, I need to do better so I can make sure no weapon formed against me or us will prosper. So once you come to that realization, whoever you are, that don't allow the excuse mechanism of your brain to be triggered by what you see other people doing.
Right, because I mean, as you know, everybody doesn't have the knowledge of Isaiah 54:17 and can quote like people. It's young people that are thinking that they don't have that knowledge of self. They don't have that wisdom. And there's so many impressionable minds. I would love for you, you know, even as we wrap this session up, to offer some insight to the young people, you know, because it's so much out there from what we're putting into our bodies, what we're listening to, what we're watching. Even, I mean, let's talk about it while we have the opportunity. You know, the young brothers and sisters in the hip hop game that you know I'm a part of in a big way, but the responsibility of what we're feeding them, and as you know, it's only. You know, we come from the days of where hip hop actually started off as a teaching mechanism. It started off as a code of the streets, a science, a methodology of communicating what was going on from one neighborhood to another neighborhood. But now it's been commercialized. Now it's been, you know, so many things, bastardized, demonized, all of those things.
All the above. Yeah. But I would say to the young, so now if they're hearing that being able to use the scriptures as an idea, a thought in your mind that you can use to check stinking thinking. If they're hearing that food and what you put in your mind, those 3 gates, and you want to put what's tonic versus you got to ask yourself the question. When you turn on the song, is it tonic or is it toxic? In my timeline, don't they call the timeline your feed?
What are you
is it tonic or is it toxic? So once you understand that basic principle, see you can't. A good tree can't produce bad fruit, and a bad tree can't produce good fruit. That's the scripture. So you can't constantly be in a campaign of discipline downloading into your mind and into your mouth that which is tonic and live a life that's toxic. It's not going to work for you. So that's a simple formula. And I would submit to them that the highest form of knowledge of self that you're going to get is the knowledge of God that he gave to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and is given to the minister today. Come see us. It's free. We don't charge for no sessions. Come see us. So we got to be more intentional.
Right.
We have to be more intentional about building up the most important entity in our possession that's the most valuable, most sacred thing. If in Proverbs 23:7, it says, as a man not driveth, so is he. Not as a man weareth, not as a man haveth in his pocket, but as a man what?
Thinketh.
So what does that tell you? The most important thing that you could have is your mind. Hosea 4:6 says, my people are destroyed from a lack of knowledge. Well, if my people are destroyed from a lack of knowledge, then the equal opposite to that would be we can be rebuilt by the acquisition of knowledge.
Right.
But it can't be just information. It has to be knowledge.
Right.
And there's a difference between information and knowledge. Information can be good or bad, true or false, but knowledge is always the truth. And if we feed our minds on the truth, then we'll be able to have that quality of life that we're looking for. I always tell the young soldiers this too, Brother Nick. When I go to speak in the schools, I tell them, remember this, young brothers and sisters, there's only two types of knowledge you ever gonna get in life. That's bought knowledge and taught knowledge. Bought knowledge is what you pay for with life experience.
Right.
But taught knowledge is what you learn by reading and by observing other people. There's a verse in the Quran that says, travel the earth and study the ends of those that have gone before you. Big Mama used to say it like this: a fool learns from their own mistake, while wise people learn from others.
Yeah.
You never see them showing you how good the airbags work to the new Benz, and they got the CEO in there driving it.
Right.
They always put the little plastic figures with the little yellow and black stickers. They call them crash.
Dummies.
So a crash dummy is when you experimenting with yourself. So the more you learn from your experience, the less wise we become. So we got to read. We got to observe. They're in education, they say that the formula for learning is called CORE, C-O-R-E, communication, observation, reading, and experimentation. Our problem is we got it backwards. We just doing experimentation, not doing a lot of communication or observing or reading. But the real formula, do a lot of communicating.
Right.
With your elders, with the wise. Do a lot of observing of people that you want to be like and do what they do. People that you don't want to be like and see if you're doing what they were doing and change your habits. And reading. This book, when you open up a book, look at what it looks like. Looks like a bird. At least, when you couldn't draw that good.
Yeah.
You know? You know what I'm talking about. Yeah,
absolutely.
But this is what allows you, reading is the appropriate exercise to build up the brain muscle. So,
Absolutely.
I seen you on IG pushing the sled.
Yeah.
That's what builds up the legs.
Yeah.
You want to build up the bicep muscles, you curl.
Yeah.
You want to build your chest, you got to press.
Yeah.
You want to build your back, you got to pull down.
Yeah.
You want to build your brain, you got to read and resist evil. Those are the exercises that make the brain muscle strong. And once you start opening books, guess what you start getting? You start getting wings. In the 5th chapter of the Quran, there's a verse that talks about how Jesus was made into how powerful he was. And it says in 5:115, it says that we gave him the knowledge of the Torah and the gospel. We gave him wisdom. We breathed in him spirit, et cetera, et cetera. And he became a flyer.
Right.
All that means is that he opened books and he was able to get his wings. And when the higher you are up, the easier you can travel. The farther you can go, the faster you can get there. Everything that's big to other people looks small to you because you up and you can see more than they can see. So the goal of reading should help you become that kind of flyer. That's why you can't go to a hotel and ask them for the best room. They're gonna tell you, well, yes, it's gonna be the presidential suite. Where's it at? Top.
Yeah.
They're gonna be down there by the gift shop.
Yeah.
It's gonna be top floor.
Penthouse.
Mayor's office.
Yeah.
Go to an apartment building. You say, I want the best you got. They're gonna give you the penthouse suite.
Yep.
Top floor. So they call it the bird's eye view. So being up, the higher you can go up, the easier you can make your life. And the way you go up is you gotta read and you gotta resist evil. That's what strengthens the brain muscle. So that's what I would say to the young soldiers.
There it is, on the highest frequency. And if you're gonna read, make sure you pick up the mathematics of the mind. My brother Nuri Muhammad, man, these have been some powerful sessions.
Thank you, sir. My honor.
Love, appreciate, respect to you and all that you bring. Like I said, highest class of civilization on the highest frequency.
Thank you, sir.
Like, subscribe, comment. This has been Counsel Culture. I know y'all fed. I know y'all full. It's been feeding us.
Thank you.
There
sir.
it is.
Praise be to Allah.